Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is James. I'm the host of the Expat Pod. If you haven't already listened to the main podcast, I do encourage you to go enjoy some amazing tales of people's living abroad lives. It's really interesting to understand their perspectives and what they've done, and how they've overcome a lot of challenges along the way. Not just how they got there, but what it's like being there and advice they'd share with you all if it's something you wish to do. Today, I'm discussing things I needed to do before I moved to Sweden. It's quite an interesting one because I think preparing to move abroad is quite important when you are embarking on a new journey. It's always interesting to do some research on things that might go wrong, kind of prepare for the worst outcomes, or just think about them a little bit and think, okay, what's the risk of that actually happening? Do I have a strategy that happens? It can be, I don't know, getting sick abroad, you know, being a situation where you've got credit card theft, or, all that kind of things, which you don't ever want to think about and are very unlikely to happen, but, if they do happen, are quite substantial. So having that kind of understanding of, okay, you've got a different bank account with which you can still keep some money in to help you get by in the currency you need, or you've got friends, or you've got insurance for travel, or you've got insurance for living there, you've got healthcare sorted. There are some really good international expat healthcare companies out there now you can go looking at, see if that's something you're interested in. Maybe your new contract or your new working situation provides you with healthcare, or the new country has it for free, or it's part of the taxes you pay, which would be really useful if that is the case for you, because it just makes life a lot easier. So all those things to think about, the worst kind of cases. I'd definitely do some research on those first. I'm sure you can find some specific ones. If you have any questions for me, do let me know. I'm sure I will endeavour to get back to you on those in the comment section, or I'll make a new video for you just to answer some questions if you have any about specific moves. The next thing I think about is, how are you going to spend your money? What's your vehicle for purchasing everyday things like groceries, or your train tickets, or paying your rent? For me, I had a very good international banking card, which meant I could use foreign transactions quite cheaply. It was called Monzo. It's a UK-based company. There's also Revolut, which I think do work internationally. They're really good. They allow you to have different pots. I don't think it's especially a bank, it's a crypto wallet, I believe, but just double check that now. They are really good still. Also, I got a credit card by Halifax called a Halifax Clarity Card, which again had no foreign transaction fees. It was obviously use the exchange rate they had in the bank, but I had a credit limit, so I wasn't using the money I was getting paid. So, for instance, paying a deposit or paying for flights and things, or holidays, if they get cancelled, you cover it on a credit card. It's still worth doing, even in Europe or anywhere in the world for that matter. Just having that kind of ability to get money if you need it, if you're in a pickle. Because if you've got savings in the UK or savings in your home country, you need to convert that. It might take a couple of days, where having that kind of backup of a credit card which works abroad is really useful, and always helps your credit score if you keep paying it off, which is always good. The next thing is accommodation. Now, make sure you know what you're looking for. Each city will be different. It'll be different to your home city for sure, or hometown. So what I did was, I was very lucky that I had some friends in Sweden before I moved, and they showed me this place called Waterfront Cabins, which was effectively a short-term let. It's like an Airbnb, but you can do it for long term. So it was a bit expensive, but it was a fully serviced apartment, or like a flat pack apartment. It's like living in an IKEA, show house. It's very, very compact, but very efficient with space. The issue was that it's like a mezzanine floor for the bed above the kind of space where the bathroom was, and that ceiling height was about 1.4 meters. I'm nearly 2, so I couldn't actually stand up in the bedroom bit. So I only lived there for about 3 months before I moved into a bigger one and spent a bit more money again, but it was definitely worth it for the comfort and the extra space that I kind of needed, just for being able to live. Also, I could put my bike in the house and not worry about it kind of being where I'm cooking and things like that. So Definitely worth doing some research on accommodation beforehand. Try and join some Facebook groups. They're really useful for supporting you. People might have houses they were trying to get rid of, or contracts you want to, exchange. You might get very lucky with timing on that. Make sure you put a nice profile on there saying what you're looking for, your budget, whereabouts you want to live, what you're going to do for your job is really important as a reference, especially in Sweden. It's very important. People do these kind of personal statements saying that you've got no debts and things like that, which is quite interesting. But I think it's quite important if you're looking for Sweden, you have to really declare your current situation, that you can afford it, and everything else. It's really quite an interesting way of looking at it, but also it just removes risk from the loaner or the landlord. So definitely worth thinking about, or looking at other people's posts and seeing if there's a trend or a familiar format they're using, and definitely look at that sense. The next thing as well is kind of EU roaming. So if you're not from Europe and you're not got mobile data roaming on your phone, it can be difficult. It can be expensive. I was looking at my phone contract back home, allowed me to pay a little bit more each month, but meant I got unlimited roaming on my contract. Basically worked the same as it did in the UK, but in Sweden, or whole of Europe for that matter, even whole of the world, actually, I got exchange. So I don't pay any extra a month, and get access to all the internet in other countries as well, which for me was great because I was doing quite a lot of traveling through work and traveling for fun. So being able to do that meant I could then hotspot my phone so my girlfriend could use her phone off my hotspot. So you don't both need it, but I would probably both get it, because unless you're going to be together all the time, there'll be times where you're apart. There'll be times there's no Wi-Fi. Think about that, because it might get expensive. Maybe look at getting a local contract if you can. That could be a better way. eSIMs are really good as well. Most phones allow you to have kind of a normal SIM and an eSIM. The eSIM could be an internet-only package where you can probably get from a local country. That's worth looking into for sure. That's probably all there is really for mobile phones. Definitely do some research on it for the country you're looking into, understand the costs and what's available. I'd say make sure you know what time of year you're moving. It makes a huge difference. And if you're going from Northern Hemisphere to Southern Hemisphere, move in the winter from home because you're moving the summer, or move in autumn actually, so you get spring and you get the whole of summer when you're settled. I moved in the end of summer in Sweden, which meant I was going into winter, which is quite tough because yes, it was beautiful when I arrived and got all this amazing, weather, and everyone was super friendly because Sweden's quite friendly in the summer. But as kind of it got colder and darker and snowy, it was more difficult to kind of make friends because people were spending more time inside and not going out as much, and work was busier as well. So I joined a volleyball club to kind of deal with that, but it was still difficult for me. Whereas if I moved in spring or in like February, it would have been much easier because I would have had the whole of the summer to kind of get my group of friends, explore the city, the country, everything. And by the time winter comes, I'll have quite good friendship groups already. Then I can plan things throughout the week so I'm not bored, I'm not alone. When you move, you've got to restart again with a whole friendship group. So make sure you're aware of that. And it's really difficult to make groups of friends as an adult. So really make sure that knowing when you're moving is important for that, and really prepare, because it might get lonely for the first winter if you do go to a northern hemisphere, or a country quite far from the equator for that matter. It will get dark, it will get cold, it will get lonely. Make sure you have either coping mechanisms or some friendship groups, and really try and address that if you can. I think that's everything I've got to say on things I needed to do before I moved. I did need to obviously put my stuff in my parents' house. I looked at storage, but it was quite expensive, so I met my parents halfway on the motorway between where I was living and where they live, and exchanged a few things. I was looking to give stuff away to charity, to friends. My old friend took my old apartment off me, took over that contract, which was nice. Everything like that. My car, I gave that back to the company, or would have sold it otherwise if I didn't have a company car, which was useful. My friend didn't sell his, he just gave his to his friend to make sure it kept getting driven, and put them on insurance because they're useful to have when you come back. So If you have any more questions or anything you want specifically answered, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know, get in touch on my socials. I'm looking to build a community around this whole podcast really, where we help each other move to different countries. So if you do see someone in the comments asking questions about a country you've got experience with, please go ahead and reply to them. Please do go help everyone out and really pass it forward. That's the whole point. I'm trying to be, quite positive about moving abroad. It is amazing. It's definitely hard. Don't let that, not let it fool you. It is definitely difficult to move abroad, but it's still one of the best things you'll do. So please help everyone. Please, be a family, be a community. As always, do go check out the main podcast I do about interviewing people about their experiences living abroad. They're incredible people. They're so insightful. They're so generous with their time and advice. Do go and share it with your friends who you think they might find this insightful as well. And as always, thank you for listening and watching. Please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time for the Expat Pod.